Hello, everybody, and welcome to the November 18th episode of Trips and Traps. I'm Andy Serling, joined by Eric Donovan.
We have 2 episodes to bring you this week, 5 races all together, and we're still going to give you some turf races. We feel that there are some significant chances that a lot of these horses could return and run once more. It all depends on the weather, but we're hopeful. We'll cross our fingers.
Right, and if not, I mean, we'll have turf racing for at least 2 or 3 more weeks. Whether or not these horses get in or race, we don't know, and if not, you'll have something to wait for around April.
All right, let's get to the first race. This is the last race from Wednesday. Maiden special weight for New York bred 2-year-olds. We're looking at the 9, Rizzi's Comet, a first-time starter from the Glen de Santa barn, and also the 10, Bishop of Nola.
Yeah, it's funny. You'll watch the 9 early. Trouble early, middle move. This horse really ran well. I mean, you see right there, Bishop of Nola was the big favorite, comes over on him, and then he drops back here. Now, look, it's hard. Maybe he was a little bit rank or something. You would thought he might want to settle back in here. Instead, the rider puts him in the clear outside, and he starts to move up. And as he gets outside Bishop of Nola, that one takes off as well.
Yeah, I think it was hard for Mike Leslie, who's riding Rizzi's Comet, to kind of imagine that he's going to end up in the 5 or 6 path here, basically sitting near the last position going into the first turn here. So, and especially with a horse like Bishop of Nola, who has racing experience, you wouldn't expect that to really happen, but it did happen. Both horses end up wide around the first turn. Yeah,
it was definitely an eventful trip. Bishop of Nola, he was another horse who, look, whether you liked him or not in this spot, he didn't get the greatest of trips. I don't think he ran particularly well either, but he certainly caused the problems for the 9 onto the first turn. The 9, he caused his problems at the start. He actually was really the nemesis of Rizzi's Comet in this race, and this was a race that I think caught both Eric and my attention because separately we both said, well, there's a horse we have to do from this race, and it's Rizzi's Comet. And he even runs well right now as he makes this premature move.
Yeah, he's going to make a move around the turn. We see him just barely on the screen right now toward the back of the pack in the 10. Bishop of Nola right in front of him. I was surprised he was able to even sustain this move. I figured here he'd probably flatten out after doing this, but he kind of runs all the way around the turn and then, understandably flattens out in the stretch.
Yeah, first of all, I thought he ran fine. Where did he finish, 6th in this race? I don't know. He seems like, I think he finished ahead of Bishop of Nola was last in here. But yeah, no, it's a question with first-time starters, and we'll see it again with a race in the dirt later in the program, I think in the second segment, where essentially you want to see them do something and show they can run a little bit. And I thought, and especially don't forget, this is a race that was won on the front end. The winner was pretty impressive here, Krugerrand, actually. A second-time starter and first time on the turf for David Donk. And even the second horse ran well in here. But, I thought he put in a nice run, and he might be okay. Whether we see him in 2 weeks or we see him in 6 months, we'll find out. I don't want him on the dirt. I want him on the turf.
All right, we'll get on to our next race. This one also on the turf. We're going to take a look at a couple of horses in entry-level allowance on the 13th, which was Friday, race number 5, the 4 Kudus, and also the 8 Midnight Silver.
Yes, we're going to call him Kudus now, as Tom Durkin calls him Kudus. And Tom would know better than we do how to pronounce these horses' names. And Kudus is getting tiresome. It's like we thought we'd give him one last appearance on Trips and Traps. And I do think he's becoming a horse, though this is a situation where Edgar Prado has him on the rail. And I don't like how he always jams his horse on the rail, but he got him off the rail in the stretch. He got unlucky after that. And he just seems to be a horse that's always getting unlucky.
Yeah, always in trouble, and it's been a long season for Kudus. He's run 11 times. He does have 3 wins, so it has been a productive year, but it seems like there's been a lot more chances for him to win where he's been in trouble, and here you see him settling toward the back of the pack on the rail. And we're also taking a look at another horse in the race, Midnight Silver, who ran from well back.
Right, and he's well back. He's well out of the picture. And with him, and you watch as they come in the stretch, I'll give you sort of an advanced notice. He tries, Ramon Dominguez has him inside, he tries to swing him outside, and he gets between horses, and he'll get shut off and forced in towards the inside. And ultimately, considering he lost this race by just a half length, it cost him the win. Kudus, on the other hand, you'll see him get blocked when they come in the stretch. I'm a little unclear, and I think Eric doesn't disagree, per se, that whether or not he had horse, or by the time he sort of got clear at the end, they just given up on him.
Yeah, I think that's a point you're going to have to kind of debate in your head about Kudus here. Looks like at this point he's settling a good trip and sitting a good trip, but he does get some chance to make a run, and I couldn't tell if things just shut off on him quickly and he just kind of stopped. And toward the back of the pack here, as Midnight Silver is getting on the screen, if he just kind of stopped running, or if he just was kind of running in spots in the stretch.
Yeah, watch Midnight Silver, because he tries to get out. Now, Kudus, you have to watch both of them, actually. Kudus right now gets the door slammed on him, while behind him, Midnight Silver. But at least Midnight Silver, who's now like 3 lengths behind him, and this Kudus will get jammed in again, but Midnight Silver is well behind him. See, Kudas kind of got clear for a second here. Then Midnight Silver maybe puts another blind switch on him. I don't know. Midnight Silver, though, he ran really well. He was an unlucky loser in this race.
He did run really well, and I would think that he'll be pointed for another turf race here as long as they can get him in.
If they can get him in. I mean, there's a limited number how many races there are. And Midnight Silver, it wouldn't surprise me to see him put away. I wouldn't be shocked to see him so in Florida. I don't know how good he is, but the winner of this race, Himbook, was okay, an improving horse for Shug McGay. Kudas feels like a horse who does need a break.
Yeah, it feels like he does. Maybe a little vacation, see him back next year in April.
Yeah, I would guess that's probably what will happen. Maybe they'll run him on the dirt, but I don't see any reason to.
Yeah. All right, one more race for the first segment here. This is a dirt race, a 2-year-old maiden claiming race for New York breds, the 6 Midnight Billy, and the 5 Hot Rewards who we're interested in.
Yeah, this is a race that the entire start dramatically affected the race. You'll see the 2 horse drew his rider in there. The 5 broke slowly. Midnight Billy, as we'll show, stumbles very, very badly coming out. And his rider loses the irons in here. And that was, I guess, he loses the irons. And you can see right now he can't even ride the horse. He's out of the irons. And it also dramatically affected the race because Midnight Billy was a speed in this race. And had Angel Silver got him out of the gate, he might have been in front, and it might have made things harder for Irving Rules. Midnight Billy ends up running third, and this was a horse that we had talked about, I believe, the week before also, because he'd had a wide trip on that Gold Rail we talked about. He was going to be a major factor in this race and was very unlucky to start.
He was, and I wonder too, even if he was able to break cleanly, that rider didn't lose the irons to the start. If he was up front, if he just would have kept going on, because speed horses did real well in this race. Horses ran 1-2 around the track here for the exacta. Very little change from the back of the pack moving forward here, and we'll see Midnight Billy here at this point.
Yeah, he's actually the only horse that did any running whatsoever, to be honest, in this race, and I do think he would have been extremely tough to beat had he gotten out of the gate, not stumbled, not lost the rider. And this was a race that was also affected before the race was run, because one of the favorites in here, the 9 horse, I think a Tom Bush horse, dropping down, he got loose and delayed the start of the race, and this race was sort of doomed from before they even opened the gate, and a lot of horses had trouble, and this was sort of a tough loss for Midnight Billy. I don't know where you go from here with him. That's the problem, because this was the day to cash on him.
It was, and I don't know, he'll be probably a square price just because of the connections wherever he ends up next time out, and we'll take a look at the head on here too. Also the 5 Hot Reward I think is one to look at next time, and we'll take a look at the break here and see exactly what happens with Midnight Billy.
Yeah, I mean, there he goes. He goes down badly, and the rider almost falls out of the irons. And as you see him, he probably bothered Hot Reward behind him. I don't know about Hot Reward as a first-time starter. If you're interested in him, it was a sloppy track, and he broke a little slowly. Maybe he runs better. I have no way of gauging whether or not he can run. We'll just find out.
Yeah, no, it just seems like he had no shot the way the race developed there with the speed horses holding on to do real well. Him breaking slow, being a firster on a wet track. Give him another shot if he's a price next time.
Yeah, if you're interested in that race, you can certainly give him another chance. Anyway, that does it for the first episode of Trips and Traps. Once again, the email address is tripsandtraps@NYRAInc.com. Love to hear your thoughts, suggestions. Keep them coming. Keep watching. We appreciate it.
And come on back for the second segment.